Coming up, this week's headlines include a couple of late-game comebacks and a couple of March-style upsets.
And Tagyn Larson, she can do it all. This Iowa-bound senior has taken her game even higher this season. We'll take a closer look at this versatile Roosevelt Rough Rider.
Jandy will attempt to answer your most burning high school basketball questions in this week's Fast Break.
All that plus our picks for this week's best games. Varsity Sports starts right now.
And hello and welcome to Varsity Sports. Alongside Jason Andera, I am Jay Elson. Well, we've got a ton to cover here over the next 30 minutes, including the first of our state tournament previews. But we tip off this week's High School Hoops headlines on an incredibly emotional week for the community of Ray, North Dakota. Pray for Ray. Just days after 3 of its players were killed in a car accident, the Ray High School basketball team played and won its District 16 tournament opener against Burke County.
A tough situation, obviously, for everybody involved. Our thoughts and prayers go out to that community and to the whole North Dakota community. It's something you just don't get over, but a little bit of sunshine with a win in the districts, kind of a comeback win, put some silver lining on that cloud. And
some great support from not only that Ray community for those families involved, but really statewide, region-wide. If you listen to some of the stories that have been coming out of that area with people just saying, hey, we want to help in any way we can.
North Dakota does a great job of banding together.
Absolutely. Big Little Upset is next, Jason. Little Wound has the biggest upset in the South Dakota Class A girls playoff so far.
Yeah, they took out Todd County, a team that's been in the top 5 pretty consistently all season long, and it was a late fourth quarter comeback to get that win. And they were the 5th seed coming into this region to beat a ranked team statewide. It was a huge upset for Little Wound, 53-50 win, and they play tonight actually in their next district game.
Yeah, Todd County came in 19-1 on the season, ranked number 4 in the state, and Little Wound was 9-10 on the year, so good for them. All right, KRETCHMAN supplied one of those exciting March moments on Monday, hitting the go-ahead three-pointer with 2.9 seconds left to lift Oak Grove to the District 2 title over Enderle.
Something about crunch time that KRETCHMAN steps up and makes big shots. He didn't even need a three-pointer in this situation, but hit it anyway. That's just what KRETCHMAN does.
The blizzard effect, Jason. We saw weather effect schedules on Tuesday night. It's going to make for a big night, an even bigger night of high school basketball in South Dakota on Thursday.
A lot of Tuesday night games got postponed in southeastern South Dakota to Thursday night, which will make a huge lineup. A lot of doubleheaders across the state.
One team that is happy that they got to play last night is Huron. The Tigers upset Aberdeen 59-50 in District 3 AA. After trailing by as many as 11 in the first half, Huron took control with a late run. Peyton Carr and Hayden Bush went for 18 and 17 respectively. Huron now faces Pierre for a shot at state, while Aberdeen puts its season on the line against Mitchell. Aberdeen not heading in the right direction.
Yeah, they're not heading in the right direction, and it's not out of the realm for Huron to pull off another upset. I mean, Pierre's a team prone to, losing a game to a team like Huron, so you got a Tim Budenhagen coach team. They can do some stuff.
And it was a surprise, to say the least, but good for the Huron Tigers.
That's what March is all about.
For them. All right, well, Roosevelt's Tagyn Larson might be the most versatile player in South Dakota. We're going to go one-on-one with the future Hawkeye next.
Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network is presented by AE Tech Electrical Training Center in Rapid City. Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Shields.
And welcome back. Well, Tagyn Larson has had to overcome early season injuries the past 2 seasons, but she's finally playing at full strength, and she's carrying her young team to their best basketball of the season. Here's Jason with more.
Well, thanks, Jay. Tagyn Larson is a standout athlete in every sense of the word. She not only shines on the basketball court, but also on the volleyball court. Although she loves both sports, she said it was in middle school when she made the decision to pursue basketball as her college sport. Well, it looks like she made the right decision. Saying Tagyn Larson comes from an athletic family might be an understatement. Her brother Cody Larson stars for the SDSU basketball team. Her sister Wagner plays volleyball at the same school. So when her brother Cody said that Tagyn is the athlete of the family, that's saying something.
Well, it's super helpful for me because I get to watch my brother and sister play, and they've always kind of been the ones to kind of create the path for me and show me things and just be my role models. And so having them growing up was like really beneficial for me.
When it came time for Tagyn to choose a school, she considered an offer from SDSU, but fell in love with the University of Iowa after a visit.
I visited a few schools, and once I got to the University of Iowa, I knew like right away that I loved it. I loved everything about it, the coaches, the teammates, campus.
One of the reasons that Iowa was so interested in Tagyn is her versatility. She can shoot, drive, pass, defend, and block shots. And she'll do whatever it takes for her team to win. And lately, they've needed her to do a lot.
I like to refer to her as like the garbage collector, because she will, not that we throw up a lot of garbage or whatever, but she cleans up messes. I mean, whether it's blocking shots, altering shots, or just being there, I mean, she changes the whole complexity of our defense. I mean, she can play any spot on the floor defensively. She can guard guards and posts, and she can also score from a lot of different spots. And I think for those younger kids, just knowing that she's there on the court, it has a calming effect on them. You'll see when they're dead parts of the game, she'll gather them together and kind of do that team mom finger shake, like, get it together, guys. And she's got such a good personality for that too. She's laid back and easygoing, but very competitive at the same time, and she's real approachable, and the players just love playing with her.
The only way to shut down Tagyn over her high school career has been injuries.
Well, it's definitely been difficult to get back and play through them. My junior year, I had a stress fracture in my right foot. And then this year, about a couple of practices before our first game, I sprained my ankle really bad. It's been really hard trying to nurse the ankle injury. It's still kind of giving me a little trouble, but it's getting better slowly.
Despite missing over a month of action this season, Tagyn has come back stronger than ever, and she's focused on taking her team, the Roosevelt Rough Riders, as far as she can. Larson has had to assume a leadership role on a very young team this season, a role that she is still growing into.
It can be stressful at times, kind of having that pressure on you, but my teammates are great. They find me all the time and find the open pass, and they're really good at looking for me down low or in transition. So it's kind of fun being that go-to person, but again, like, they always have to be ready to step up, because some nights I'm not like at my best, and so the other girls step up a lot and really take a lot of the weight off my shoulders.
Here's a look at Tagyn's senior season stats. Jason, obviously pretty impressive, but you also have to wonder what maybe might have been had she been able to play the whole season.
Exactly. Both of the last two seasons, even though she's been out to injury parts of the last two seasons, she's still over 1,000 points for her career. She's the all-time leading rebounder, and we're talking about a school, Roosevelt here, who had a pretty nice streak going, in the 90s and the 2000s. All-time leading rebounder, all-time leading in block shots. You look at her season stats, and the points per game at 19 and the rebounds at 9. They all kind of make sense. Blocks per game, we know she can swat shots at 3.5 per game, but a 47% three-point shooter. I mean, that's the one that stands out for me. I think that's also the reason that the University of Iowa is very interested in Tagyn Larson.
When we started to recruit Tagyn, we knew she came from a highly successful high school program. And so we knew she was a winner, but it was her versatility that really grabbed our attention, is that she is a 6'1" wing player that can really play the 2, the 3, or the 4. So she's a very versatile player. She can beat you off the bounce. She's ability to stretch out the defense. And so she can just do a little bit of everything, and she's a really fine athlete, an outstanding volleyball player as well.
Well, 8 teams are hoping to capture a little magic in Minot this weekend. We'll preview the North Dakota State B Girls Basketball Tournament with Ryan Holmgren from the Minot Daily News when we come back.
Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network is presented by AE Tech Electrical Training Center in Rapid City. Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Shields.
Welcome back. The state tournament season officially tips off Thursday with North Dakota Class B girls. We're going to start by taking a look at this bracket. Some impressive teams, as you might expect.
A loaded field, and this is the second year they've used the new system where they get the coaches together, seed the top 4 teams, and then randomly match them up with the next 4 teams. And if you're Shiloh Christian, I don't know if you like the way you got your draw going against the two-time defending champs.
Yeah, major bummer, right? The rematch of last year's title game right off the bat in the first round. Tough draw, honestly, for both those teams. Bishop Bryant, I'm sure, is not really
probably
excited
not thrilled
to see
with that one, but
what are you going to do? That's the system, and that's the way they're going to do it. For more on the State B girls basketball tournament, we bring in Ryan Holmgren from the Minot Daily News. And Ryan, tell us about some of the players you expect to shine in this tournament.
It's got to start with Hannah Stewart from Bishop Ryan. She's averaging not far off a triple-double. She's got 19.8 points per game, 11.9 rebounds, 5.8 steals, along with 4.5 assists and 4.5 blocks. So she kind of does a little bit of everything. And Gabby Bull actually leads the Lions in scoring. She's got 21.8 points per game to go with 8.5 rebounds, and she's shooting at an absurd 63% clip. So those are two of them right there. And then you got to think about Fallon Fragey from Lakota Edmore. She's also not far off from a triple-double. She's averaging 7 assists per game to go with double-digit points and rebounds. So she is, 3-time All-State selection and just an amazing talent there for Lakota.
Well, like we were talking about, Bishop Ryan draws Shiloh Christian in the first round. The Lions struggled a bit against the Skyhawks in last year's championship game. How do you see this one playing out?
This year, I think it'll be a little bit different. They did win the regular season battle by 20 points. I think one of the factors there is that Jay Two-Bears for Shiloh, who is an amazing talent, is playing with an injured knee. She tore her ACL over the summer, and it's been hampering her this season. And I think in the region championship game against Garrison, she was 0 for 5 with 0 points. So if she's able to be effective, that changes the ball game. And certainly last year in the state tournament, she had a great 3 days of basketball. But I think this year, I think Ryan will be able to get past that first round with Shiloh in that championship rematch and kind of go from there.
Obviously, a big game there, Ryan. But out of the other first-round matchups now, which one do you think is the most intriguing?
I like the Lakota Edmore Lemoore matchup. I think that's going to be a good one. Lemoore is a team that they lost to Carrington earlier in the year, and then they beat them in the district and district championship, and then in the region championship they blew them out. So clearly they are they've got a lot of confidence, and they're coming in there. The other one is Kindred and Partial that really sticks out to me as one where you could potentially see an upset. Kindred hasn't lost all year, and so obviously it's quite impressive going 24-0 heading into the state tournament. But Partial's only lost 5 games this year, and the 5 losses were all to ranked teams. And so I think they could give fits to Kindred in that opening game.
All right, Ryan, time to put you on the spot. Which 2 teams do you think will play for a title?
Bishop Ryan is kind of a no-brainer at this point. No one's been able to beat him over the past 80 games against Class B opponents. From the other side, I think Lakota Edmore, just with Fallon Fragey, the type of presence she has on the low block, and just she does a little bit of everything. I think they might be able to upset Kindred and get to the championship. And then when you get to the championship game, Bishop Ryan's been a big favorite. They were a big favorite last year, and they were down 8 points early in that fourth quarter. So it's kind of anything can happen. But this year, Ryan is playing in Minot. They've got the hometown crowd with them. So I think it would be a surprise to anyone if Ryan didn't go for and complete the three-peat.
All right, great stuff yet again from Ryan Holmgren of the Minot Daily News. He does. Well, asking you will receive. Coming up next, Jason will take on some of the best questions from our faithful Varsity Sports viewers. The Fast Break is next.
Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network is presented by AE Tech Electrical Training Center in Rapid City. Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Shields.
And welcome back. It is Fast Break time, and this week we take your questions. Jandy and I will do the best to give you the answers. Mostly Jandy, but we have to beat the shot clock to do it. So put 35 seconds on the board, and here we go. Okay, Jandy, we start in South Dakota Class B boys basketball. Who is the top player in that class?
That's a good question. I think it really comes down to 2 players. It comes down to Bo Freeze of Langford and Lorenzo Williams of Woolsey Wessington. Bo Freeze has taken his team much farther in this season than anybody thought they would, returning almost no one last night. Against Leola Frederick. He had an excellent night, 23 points, 8 boards, 9 assists, 6 steals. I mean, that's something that only both Reeds can do. But I think Lorenzo Williams, to answer the question, is the best player in the class. Everybody knows he can drive to the hoop, but this year he's extended that jump shot, making him unstoppable.
Well done.
All right.
All right, move to North Dakota now. How much does the hometown advantage work in Bishop Ryan's favor at this State B tournament in Minot?
It is a very small factor in my mind. I think they could play this game in Alaska. They could play it in Parshall. They could play it in Fargo. And Bishop Ryan would be the heavy favorites no matter what. It's just going to be much more fun to have that home crowd there to help them celebrate, in my opinion. But, you know, it always helps to have the hometown sleep in your own bed type thing. But, you know, not a huge factor.
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't
right?
hurt.
I mean, especially when you're going for a 3rd straight title. It certainly doesn't hurt to be playing it in your backyard, right?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
But I agree, it's not really a factor here if you look at the talent.
Nobody can complain. Let's put it that way.
Right, exactly. All right, well, next one comes from our good friend and loyal viewer, Les Schroeder. It's a 2-part question,
Two-part
Jason.
questions in 35
Challenging.
seconds. All right.
And let's start with, is Kent Colesroot of Sioux Falls O'Gorman the coach of the year in Class AA girls in your mind? And who, if anyone, gives the Knights a run at the title?
The first answer is yes. Kent Colesroot is the coach of the year in the class. He's done a phenomenal job. I know that they were the #1 team coming into the year, and they were expected to do well, but maybe not this well. And there's a pretty big gap right now with what they've accomplished versus anybody else. And sometimes they give it to the coach of the year who's overachieved the most. Well, I still think he might have overachieved more than anybody. And who will challenge him? I think Aberdeen Central is a team to keep your eye on in the background. This is a team that's clicking right now, but they've got a tough game against Pierre, and Pierre's another team. They gave O'Gorman a little bit of a test here a month ago. I don't think they can do it at the state level, though.
Rapid City Stevens maybe entered into that equation.
Yeah, they're a good team. There's a lot of good teams. I mean, they lost to Washington last week. I mean, somebody could sneak up and get them.
True.
But I think the main challenger might be Aberdeen Central right now.
All right, finally, we've already seen a couple of upsets both sides, boys and girls, North Dakota, South Dakota. Name the next one.
Oh boy, they're upsets for a reason, is because they're unexpected.
Right.
But I think we'll each take a crack at this one. I think one of the Rapid City schools, I mean, that's a pretty broad range, but I think I saw Rapid City Central girls play, and that's a team that is young, a lot of good sophomores. If they get their heads on straight, I think that they could knock a good team off. I'm
going to get a little more specific here, and I'm going to go District 2 championship. I think Harrisburg has a real shot to beat Lincoln. I mean, Harrisburg coming off a win over Washington. Yes, Washington is not what they've been in the past, but they were coming off they were the only team to beat O'Gorman in the regular season, and they come in and then they lose to Harrisburg. And Lincoln has not played well down the stretch, and so I think there's a chance we could see the Tigers run into state after beating Lincoln in that District 2 AA championship.
I think you missed the shot clock, but you made a good point.
Hey, you know,
point for that.
I'm not as practiced at that part of it as you are. All right, stay tuned. Jason and I will make our picks for some of this week's best postseason matchups, including our champions for the State B girls in North Dakota. That's next.
Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network is presented by AE Tech Electrical Training Center in Rapid City. Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Shields.
And welcome back. We wrap things up tonight with another round of high school hoops pick'em, and this is a postseason edition where it's all about winners. And this week, of course, we replace upsets with championship picks in the State B girls tournament in North Dakota. We'll get to that in just a bit. 2 points, by the way, for those. It just so happens that 2 points is all that separates Jason and I.
There was a nice big lead a month ago, and you've been chipping away at it. I'm going the wrong direction. Listen to this guy this week.
All right, North Dakota Boys A, the EDC tournament, Davies and West Fargo.
You know, West Fargo has been the hot team in the EDC. I called it last week that they were a team on a roll to watch out for. I think they keep on trucking. They've got some big-time players. Melvin Collins leading the way. I think Davies has just already peaked, and I think West Fargo's getting better.
Yeah, I think West Fargo wins this game as well. The Packers have lost just 2 of their last 17 games, both of those to a very good Wahpeton team. So they've been on quite a roll here over the last month and a half or so. North Dakota Girls A now, the West Region Tournament. Bismarck and Mandan. This will be the third meeting, Jason, between these two teams, and they've all been pretty even.
Yeah, these two teams are kind of in that second tier, and Mandan is a pretty young team. They have a couple good players, senior players that have led them this year. Hannah Hansen and Shelby Anderson have been their two top scorers, neither of them in double digits, but I think that they have enough to bring it together at this time of the year and take out Bismarck.
See, I think this really is a toss-up. I think you look at the fact that 2 of those 3 games that they've played were decided by 2 points.
Yeah.
And that's not really all you need to see, but I'm going to go the other direction.
Okay.
I like the Demons. I think they're statistically a little bit better on both ends of the floor. That's enough for me in this particular game. I'm going to go Bismarck. South Dakota now, the boys District 1 AA tournament, Watertown at Roosevelt.
I'll tell you what, I have not pegged Roosevelt much this year in the right pick column. In this one, I think Watertown might be able to bring it together and pull out a little road upset.
All those losses came against teams that were ranked at the time that they played them. So, I mean, I think they're battle-tested coming into this game. I don't think Watertown's going to give them anything they didn't see over the final month of the season. I like Roosevelt to get the win in this one. Finally, South Dakota girls now. Good one from 2 EDC teams in the District 3 AA championship for the right to go to state, Aberdeen at Pierre.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to a toss-up once again. These picks are razor thin this week, and I think Pierre and Aberdeen are the 2 teams to beat. I think the home court advantage might work out for Pierre in this time, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Aberdeen get them later, maybe even in the state tournament.
Pierre did beat Aberdeen on their home floor during the regular season. I'm going to go the other way again. I like Aberdeen. You talked about them a little earlier. Just
Can I change all my picks?
They are
These are so close.
Early, throughout the stretch of this regular season and into the postseason here. Championship picks, and I don't think there's a lot of drama here.
Well,
the State B girls basketball tournament in Minot.
Both of the last 2 years, Bishop Ryan has come in as heavy favorites, and both the last 2 years, they trailed in the championship game. I mean, this is not going to be a cakewalk for them once they get to the championship game. I think they will get there, but I think it's going to be a tight one, but I do think Bishop Ryan is your champion once again.
I think they win it again. They've figured it out every time for 80 straight games against teams from their class. I think they'll figure out how to win 3 more and get another state championship. What a run for the Lions.